My name is Grace White, and what I'm about to share will change the way you see the world. I died in my sleep, but it wasn't the end. It was the beginning of something I never imagined. I experienced a near-death experience, NDE, that shattered my understanding of reality. I saw the truth, that life as we know it is a dream, and we are the creators of this illusion. I met a divine guide who revealed the secret of existence and showed me how to wake up from the dream of the world. Here's what happened. My name is Grace White. The day everything changed wasn't a day at all. It was a night, an ordinary night. I had gone to bed feeling exhausted but otherwise fine. No warning, no signs, just sleep. But that sleep turned into something else entirely. I remember slipping into unconsciousness. It was different this time. It wasn't the usual drift into dreams. I felt my body become heavy, like I was sinking into the mattress. Then everything stopped. No breathing, no heartbeat, nothing. My chest felt hollow, and then it all went dark. Suddenly, I was above my body. I could see myself lying there in bed, completely still. It was strange because I wasn't panicked. I wasn't scared. I was calm, almost detached. I watched as my chest didn't rise and fall. My hands were limp. My face was pale. I was dead, and yet I was more awake than I had ever been. "What's happening?" I whispered, but no sound came out. That's when I felt it, a pull. It wasn't physical. It was like my awareness was being drawn upward. I looked toward the ceiling, but it wasn't there anymore. Instead, I saw light. Not bright, blinding light. It was soft, golden, and endless. It felt like I was being invited into it. I hesitated. Am I dying? I thought. Then I realized I was already dead. My body was still in bed. My spirit was not. The pull became stronger, and I allowed myself to let go. I floated toward the light, weightless. The moment I crossed into it, everything changed. A rush of warmth and peace washed over me. I wasn't Grace White anymore, not the Grace from Earth. I was something else, something pure. I don't know how long I floated in that space, but it felt eternal and instant at the same time. That's when I heard a voice, a calm, knowing voice. "Welcome." I turned, and there stood a figure, radiating light, smiling, familiar, though I couldn't place why. And that's when I knew this was just the beginning. I floated in the light, weightless and calm. My body was gone, and yet I was more aware than I had ever been. I could feel everything, the space around me, the warmth of the light, even the distant hum of energy that seemed to vibrate through everything. Then I heard the voice again. "Grace," it said softly. I turned toward the sound. A figure was there, made of light. It had no defined shape, no face, no hands, but I could feel its presence. It radiated familiarity and comfort. "You've crossed over," the voice said. "Am I dead?" I asked. "Yes, but death is not the end. It's just the beginning." I didn't feel fear, only curiosity. "What happens now?" The figure stepped closer without moving. "You're waking up," it said. "What do you mean?" "The life you knew, it was a dream, a projection of your thoughts and expectations. You created that world." I frowned. "What are you saying?" "The world you left behind wasn't real, not in the way you thought it was. You lived inside a dream shaped by your mind, your beliefs, your fears." I didn't know what to say. It made no sense, yet it felt completely true. My life, my house, my friends, my struggles, all of it, not real. The figure's light pulsed gently. "Reality isn't what you think it is. You are consciousness, a creator. What you believed shaped the life you lived." I shook my head. but it felt real. It was as real as you believed it to be. I looked down and saw Earth beneath me, a tiny sphere surrounded by stars and darkness. I could see cities, oceans, mountains. I could feel the emotions of the people there: fear, love, anger, peace. You were part of that dream, the figure said, but now you've woken up. I realized that I was no longer attached to it. My worries, my fears, they didn't matter anymore. I had stepped beyond the illusion. I wasn't Grace White, the woman with a job and bills and responsibilities. I was Grace White, the awareness behind it all. You have a choice, the figure said. You can return to the dream, or you can stay awake. I drifted through the light, aware of every sensation. My body was gone, but my awareness was sharper than ever. I could feel the energy pulsing through me, vibrant and alive. And then I saw it. An endless field of light stretched out before me, like golden waves shimmering under a bright sun. Shapes moved within the light, figures walking, standing, communicating without speaking. I moved toward them, or maybe they moved toward me. It was hard to tell. One figure stepped forward. Its light was soft and golden, almost human-shaped. As it approached, I felt an overwhelming wave of recognition. "Do I know you?" I asked. "You've always known me," it said. Its voice was gentle but powerful. "We've met many times before." "I don't remember." "You will." The figure reached out, though it had no hands. Its light touched me, and suddenly memories flooded back. Lifetimes, connections, people I had loved and lost. "I've been here before," I whispered. "Yes," the figure said, "and you'll be here again." The others in the field of light watched me with soft curiosity. I felt no judgment, only acceptance. They knew me. They understood me in a way that I had never been understood before. "What is this place?" I asked. "The space between worlds," the figure said. "It's where souls come to remember who they are." I stood there, surrounded by light and love, and I realized I wasn't lost. I had found home. The figure stepped closer, its light growing brighter. I wasn't afraid. I felt warmth radiating from it, like standing in sunlight. "Who are you?" I asked. "I am your guide," it said. "I've been with you from the beginning." "You've always been with me?" "Yes, you just couldn't see me." "I don't understand," I said. "You weren't ready to see." The figure's light pulsed softly. "Do you remember how you used to feel? That emptiness you carried? That feeling that something was missing?" "Yes," I whispered. I was the missing piece. Tears filled my eyes, though I had no eyes to cry with. "You've never been alone," the figure said. "Not once. Not even when you felt lost." "I thought I was broken," I said. "You were waking up," the figure replied, "and now you're ready to see the truth." I stepped closer. The figure's light wrapped around me. For the first time in my existence, I felt whole. "You are love," the figure said, "and you are home." I stood in the field of light, surrounded by warmth and peace. The figure stood beside me, radiating a soft glow that pulsed with calm energy. I felt weightless, but not empty, full, like I was part of the light itself. "You said my life was a dream," I said, "but it felt real. The pain, the happiness, it all felt real." The figure's light shimmered. It was real, to the part of you that believed it was. "What does that mean?" The figure moved closer. "Reality is not what you think it is, Grace. It's not fixed. It's not objective. It's a projection of your consciousness, shaped by your thoughts, your beliefs, your fears. What you saw, felt, and experienced, it all came from within you." "Are you saying I created my life?" "Exactly. The figure's light pulsed gently, just like a dream where your mind creates the landscape, the people, the experiences. Your life was a creation of your mind and your heart. Your beliefs shaped it. Your fears gave it weight. Your joy made it brighter. You were the creator of the dream. I shook my head. But if I created it, why was it so hard? Why was there so much pain? The figure's light softened. Because you forgot you were the creator. You believed you were powerless. You believed that life was happening to you, instead of realizing you were shaping it. My chest tightened. You mean all the things I suffered through, the heartbreak, the loss, the fear, I did that to myself? No, the figure said softly. You didn't cause it, but you gave it meaning. Pain happens in the dream, Grace. But how you experience it, how you carry it, comes from your mind. Your attachment to the pain makes it heavier. Your resistance makes it harder to let go. I thought about the times I had held on to anger, the grudges I refused to release, the heartbreak I nursed long after it was over. I saw now how I had trapped myself in those feelings, not because they were forced on me, but because I had chosen to hold them. You mean I could have let it go at any time? Yes. I felt my mind expanding, like a veil was being lifted. And now you understand the truth, the figure said. You are not the dream. You are the dreamer. Come with me, the figure said. A ripple passed through the light, and suddenly I wasn't standing anymore. I was floating. A massive screen of light appeared in front of me. Scenes from my life began to play. The first memory was of me as a child, 6 years old, sitting under a tree in my grandmother's backyard. I was crying because my mother had yelled at me for breaking a glass. My grandmother sat beside me, stroking my hair. I felt everything, not just my own sadness, but my mother's frustration, my grandmother's quiet understanding. I could feel their emotions as if they were mine. You're not just watching this, the figure said. You're experiencing it from every side. Suddenly I became my mother. I felt her exhaustion, her frustration at trying to balance work and parenting. I saw how overwhelmed she was, how much she was trying to hold together. I shifted into my grandmother's perspective. I felt her calmness, her acceptance. I understood why she had stayed quiet, why she hadn't scolded my mother. She had seen the bigger picture. And then I was back in my own body, the 6-year-old girl feeling small and hurt. But now I understood the entire experience. It was never about you, the figure said, but you made it about you. That's how the dream works. Another scene appeared. I was a teenager arguing with my father. He was angry, shouting, and I was screaming back. I felt the anger rise in my chest, but then I became my father. I felt his helplessness, his fear that he was losing control of his family. He wasn't angry at me. He was scared of his own failures. I pulled back into myself. I thought he hated me, I whispered. He didn't hate you, the figure said. He didn't know how to love you the way you needed. Scene after scene played out, moments of joy, moments of heartbreak. I experienced them all, from every angle. I saw how much love I had missed because I had been too caught up in fear and judgment. You weren't a victim of your life, the figure said. You were a participant. You chose how to respond. You created the story. I watched myself breaking down after a failed relationship. I had convinced myself that I was unlovable, that I would always be alone. But now I saw the truth. The relationship hadn't failed because I was unlovable. It failed because I believed I was unlovable. I had pushed love away before it had the chance to grow. Tears filled my eyes. I did this to myself. You shaped the dream, the figure said, and now you can reshape it. When you wake up, Grace, you will remember what you've seen here. I turned toward the figure. But how do I change it? How do I stop making the same mistakes? You must understand the power of thought, the figure said. Your thoughts create the structure of your reality. What you focus on, you empower. I don't understand. The figure held out its light. Let me show you. Suddenly, I was back in my childhood bedroom. I saw myself standing in front of a mirror. I was 10 years old, staring at my reflection. I heard the voice in my head. You're not pretty enough. You're not good enough. And because you believed it, the figure said, you built a reality that reflected that belief. The mirror shimmered, and the reflection changed. I saw myself as an adult, doubting myself in relationships, in work, in life. I had created patterns of failure because I had believed I wasn't worthy of success. What happens if I change the thought? I asked. Try it, the figure said. I focused on the mirror. I am enough, I whispered. The reflection changed. I saw myself smiling, radiant, confident. Suddenly the memories shifted. I saw myself handling difficult situations with grace, attracting healthier relationships, succeeding where I had once failed. You are consciousness, the figure said. Your thoughts are the brush. Reality is the canvas. I turned toward the figure. So, I can create whatever life I want? Yes, the figure said. Once you wake up, you can create the dream you want to live. The figure's light flickered. The world around me began to shift. What's happening? I asked. The dream is collapsing, the figure said. I looked down and saw Earth beneath me. Cities were flickering, landscapes changing. It wasn't destruction, it was transformation. The edges of the world blurred, reshaping themselves. Humanity is waking up, the figure said. The collective dream is changing. Old structures are falling apart. Fear is losing its grip. But why now? Because enough souls have awakened, the figure said. The vibration of the planet is rising. Consciousness is expanding. I saw people across the earth, some standing in fear, others stepping into light. Those who resisted were pulled deeper into chaos. Those who embraced the shift rose into peace and understanding. You are part of this, the figure said. You chose to come back at this time to help others awaken. But how? By being awake, the figure said. By showing others that they can create the dream, not be controlled by it. The world beneath me flickered. I could feel myself being pulled back. Wait, I said. You're ready, Grace, the figure said. Now, wake up. The light around me pulsed gently, and the figure's presence grew stronger. I could feel a shift happening, not just in me, but across existence. The earth beneath me seemed to vibrate, as if the entire world was stirring from a long sleep. The world is waking up, the figure said. I stared down at the earth. It wasn't the same as before. The colors were different, sharper and more vibrant. Waves of energy rippled through the atmosphere. I could feel the collective heartbeat of humanity, millions of souls stirring all at once. What's happening? I asked. The illusion is breaking, the figure replied. For centuries, humanity has been trapped in a cycle of fear, conflict and separation. But that cycle is coming to an end. Enough souls have awakened, and the energy of the collective is shifting. I could feel it, the push and pull of energy, fear and love, darkness and light. It was all swirling together, colliding, creating tension. But why now? I asked. Because the veil is thinning, the figure said. The consciousness of the planet has reached a critical point. More souls are becoming aware of their true nature. The old structures, built on fear and control, are beginning to collapse. I saw it happening beneath me. Systems that had ruled humanity for centuries, governments, corporations, financial institutions, all flickering like fragile holograms. People were questioning them, stepping away from them. Fear was dissolving. But not everyone, I said. I could see some people clinging to the collapsing structures. Their fear was palpable. Not everyone will awaken, the figure said softly. Some souls will resist the shift. They will cling to the old reality because it feels familiar. Fear is a powerful force, and letting go requires courage. I saw faces flashing beneath me, people afraid, angry, lost. I felt their confusion. They didn't understand what was happening. The ground beneath them was shifting, but they were still trying to hold on to something solid. But they don't have to be afraid, I said. No, the figure said. And that's why you're here. Me? You are meant to help them see the truth. When you return to the dream, you will carry this awareness with you. Your presence alone will help others awaken. But how? By being awake yourself, the figure said. By refusing to be controlled by fear. When you walk in peace, others will feel it. When you create from love, others will learn to do the same. I watched as more people began to rise. Some were opening their eyes, seeing through the illusion for the first time. Their faces softened, their hearts opened. They're waking up, I whispered. They are remembering who they are, the figure said, and so are you. I watched the faces below, some lifting into light, others sinking deeper into fear. I could feel the resistance, the heaviness of their energy. Fear clung to them like chains. Why are they so afraid? I asked. Because fear gives them identity, the figure said. In the dream of the world, people have learned to define themselves through fear. Fear of rejection, fear of loss, fear of death. Fear makes them feel real. But it's not real, I said. Number, but it feels real to them. I saw flashes of people's lives, a woman crying over a breakup, a man terrified of losing his job, a child afraid of the dark. I felt their pain, the way fear wrapped around them, holding them in place. Fear feeds the dream, the figure said. It strengthens the illusion. When you believe in fear, you give it power. You create more reasons to be afraid. But if they let go of fear, the dream would collapse. My chest tightened. That's why the world feels so unstable. Yes, the figure said. The old reality, built on fear, is crumbling. People are trying to hold on to it because they don't know who they are without fear. But they don't have to be afraid. Number, but they have to see through the illusion first. I looked down at the earth. Fear rippled through the cities. Wars, conflict, manipulation, division. People were being conditioned to stay asleep. The systems thrived on fear. Governments, media, corporations, all using fear to keep people under control. How do they let go? I asked. By remembering that they are not the dream, they are the dreamer. I saw someone sitting in meditation, eyes closed, breathing deeply. The fear around them began to fade. Their energy shifted from constricted to open. The light around them grew. The key is awareness, the figure said. When you become aware of fear, you stop being controlled by it. Fear only has power when you believe in it. I watched as more people began to shift. They stopped listening to the fear. They opened their hearts. The chains began to dissolve. They're waking up, I said. And so are you. I floated beside the figure, watching as souls across the earth began to awaken. Light was spreading, breaking through the darkness. But beneath it all, I could still feel fear lingering, the fear of death. They're still afraid of dying, I said. Because they don't understand what death really is, the figure replied. I turned toward the figure. What is it? It's not an end, the figure said. It's a doorway. But it feels like an end, I said. Only to the body, the figure replied. Your consciousness is eternal. You were never your body. You only believed you were. I saw myself lying in bed, lifeless, my chest not rising, my hands still, and yet I was still here, watching, aware. You died, the figure said, but you didn't stop existing. So, dying is like waking up? Exactly. I saw other souls crossing over, leaving their bodies behind. Some were confused at first, but as they realized they were still alive, still aware, peace settled over them. They believed they were their bodies, the figure said, but the body is only a vehicle, a projection in the dream. When you step out of it, you wake up. Then why are people so afraid of dying? Because they think it's the end, the figure said. But death is only the beginning. It's a transition, like stepping through a doorway into a new room. I saw souls moving toward the light, their energy becoming brighter. There was no fear, only peace. So what happens after death? I asked. You return to the source, the figure said. You rest, you remember, and when you're ready, you create again. So we're never really gone. Never, the figure said. You are eternal. You are consciousness itself. You cannot end. I watched as more souls crossed over, stepping into the light. Their fear dissolved. Peace surrounded them. They're remembering, I said. Yes, the figure said. And so are you. I stood with the figure, watching as the light expanded across the earth. More people were waking up, stepping out of fear, but some still clung to their pain. Why are they still stuck? I asked. Because they haven't forgiven, the figure said. I saw people holding on to resentment, memories of betrayal, heartbreak, loss. The energy around them was heavy, dark. Forgiveness is the key to freedom, the figure said. But most people hold on to their pain because they believe it defines them. But if they let it go, they would be free. I saw a woman standing alone, clutching her chest. Tears ran down her face. She was remembering a man who had hurt her, and the pain it caused. I stepped toward her. You can release it, I said. I can't, she whispered. If I forgive him, it means it didn't matter. No, I said. It means it doesn't have to control you anymore. Slowly the woman released her hands. The energy around her lightened. I'm free, she whispered. And so are you, the figure said. I stood with the figure, watching as more souls began to awaken. Fear was dissolving, but there was something else rising to take its place. Love. It moved through the atmosphere like waves of light, touching everything and everyone. Love is the key, the figure said. I watched as people began to feel it, in small moments. A mother holding her child, a man helping a stranger on the street, a woman smiling at her reflection in the mirror for the first time in years. The energy of love expanded around them, softening their hearts and opening their minds. Why does love feel so powerful? I asked. Because it's the essence of who you are, the figure said. Fear is the illusion, love is the truth. I thought about my life, all the times I had chased love, feared losing it, or felt unworthy of it. I remembered the heartbreak, the loneliness, the longing. But love hurts, I said. The figure's light pulsed softly. That's not love. That's attachment. Love does not hurt. Love liberates. I frowned. What's the difference? Attachment comes from fear, the fear of losing, the fear of not being enough. True love is free of fear. It asks for nothing. It gives without needing to receive. I watched a young woman sitting alone in her room, crying over a breakup. I could feel her sadness, the belief that she wasn't enough, that she would never find love again. That's not love, the figure said. That's the mind's version of love, the illusion of separation. True love knows that nothing is ever lost. I saw the same woman years later, standing beneath a tree, holding the hand of a small child. She was smiling. Love had found her again, but only after she had stopped chasing it. Love comes when you stop seeking it, the figure said, because you are love. When you realize that, you stop needing love from others, and you become a source of love for the world. I felt it then, a warmth growing in my chest, not from the figure, from within me. You are not separate from love, the figure said. You are love. When you love yourself, you align with the truth of who you are, and that alignment opens the door for miracles. I saw people opening their hearts, forgiving, connecting, lifting each other. The collective energy was rising, fear was fading, love was expanding. So the secret is love, I whispered. The secret is remembering that you are love, the figure said, and in that moment I knew love wasn't something to seek, it was something to become. As I stood there watching the earth below, I could feel the shift happening. It wasn't gradual, it was sudden and powerful. A rising wave of energy was spreading through humanity, like a pulse moving through the heart of the planet. It's happening, the figure said. I saw cities glowing with energy. People were waking up, not just spiritually, but mentally and emotionally. Old patterns were breaking. People were letting go of fear, stepping into new ways of living. But it wasn't easy. Some were still resisting, clinging to their fear, their anger, their sense of control. I saw governments struggling to maintain power, financial systems teetering, people protesting in the streets, some with love, some with rage. They're scared, I said. They don't know how to exist without the old structures. The mind fears what it cannot control, the figure said, but the heart knows how to surrender. I saw people stepping away from their jobs, leaving behind toxic relationships, refusing to participate in systems that no longer aligned with their truth. They weren't running, they were reclaiming their power. The collective dream is shifting, the figure said, and when the dream changes, so does the world. I saw people creating new systems, communities based on cooperation instead of competition, governments that honored the will of the people instead of controlling them. People were learning how to live in alignment with each other, not through fear, but through trust. So the dream isn't ending, I said. No, the figure replied, it's transforming. Humanity is stepping into a new dream, one shaped by love, not fear. I saw families coming together. I saw children laughing. I saw people gathering under the stars, celebrating, dancing, connecting. The shift isn't happening because of governments or leaders, the figure said. It's happening because people are choosing it. They are choosing love over fear, peace over conflict, freedom over control. I saw fear dissolving, like fog burning away under the sun. And once humanity remembers who they are, the figure said, there will be no going back. What happens next? I asked. That's up to you, the figure replied. The figure's light pulsed brighter, and I felt a shift inside me, a pull. You have to go back now, the figure said. I hesitated. but I don't want to leave." "You were never meant to stay," the figure said. "You were meant to remember, and then bring that memory back to the dream." I looked down at the earth. It seemed so small, so fragile. How could I leave this piece and return to that? "They need you," the figure said. "Your presence, your awareness, will help others awaken." I felt the pull growing stronger. My body was calling me back. "But what if I forget?" I asked. "You won't forget," the figure said. "This awareness is part of you now. You will carry it with you. But how will I help others?" "By living awake," the figure said. "By showing them that fear is an illusion, that love is the truth. When you walk in awareness, others will see it. Your presence will open the door for others to